Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Positive Friday here on Coffee and Crypto. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Lots of things to talk about. In case you are not looking at the charts, they're not going crazy necessarily, but they continue to drop, at least on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. We're going to be looking more than likely at all three of them before the show is done. We also have news coming from the White House. Could we actually be seeing some signs of regulation happening, or is this just filler, and are we just going to keep hearing it said over and over and over and over, and nothing's actually going to happen? We will have to see about that. Gary Gensler also is a little confused on what he actually thinks the security is. I don't even know if he knows at this point, so we got a lot of stuff coming out with that. Could Ethereum be in his crosshairs after he gets done with XRP and Ripple? That's going to be really interesting. I'm so excited for today's show. I got Forrest from Crypto Stackers coming on. We're going to be talking about Ethereum, both short-term and long-term, because there's some really exciting things happening macro, and I would not be surprised if you guys were looking at this title and thinking, is that clickbait? No. I actually genuinely question, could we be seeing Ethereum over the next year outpace the rest of the place? I'm not necessarily saying we're going to flip Bitcoin necessarily, but it could have a very exciting 2023, and potentially could we see a new all-time high by the end of that year of 2023? We're going to be discussing all of that and more. Make sure, if you are already in here, smash that like button. We got 40 likes, but 200 people watching. I know we can get that to go up. Also, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. This is the fastest growing and most amazing, uplifting crypto community in the entire world. If you want to be a part of it, make sure to tune in every single day. Don't just smash the like button. Don't just comment and subscribe, but hit that notification bell. And you also, if you want, could join our membership group and be a part of something even more special. We're going to be doing a lot more with all of our members very soon, so stay tuned to that. But I'm going to go and introduce my fantastic team. I got TShroom over here, and I'm telling you, in this light, that shirt looks very blue. But I know from last time it is purple.
Yeah, it's purple.
It's purple. All right, well, how are you doing this morning, TShroom?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's definitely the end of the week here, sliding into home base, but feeling pretty good.
Yeah. How about you, Smay? How you doing? You're over my left, and you're wearing, I think you're in a black shirt.
I am.
Oh, Celtics. There we go.
It is the Celtics. Go Celtics, boys.
Yeah, I mean, you got to root for the Celtics hardcore now because your West Virginia team ain't doing so swell.
So here's the thing about the Celtics. We have MVP offseason, so they're going to win the championship this year.
What does that mean, an MVP offseason?
We got a lot of great players without getting rid of any players.
Oh, that's good.
Have to cover that later then. Today's going to be a special day, not only on the show, but I think some of you guys know this, but Manny, our COO, is getting married today. So, in case you guys are wondering, we're not going to be having our weekly wrap-up. Some of you guys have been watching that. You've absolutely loved it, where every Friday at 6 p.m., we kind of wrap up the entire week in one video, cover all the big headlines, look at the charts. So in case you missed any of the shows, you can catch back up. But this week, we will not have one because Smay's actually going to be the videographer for the wedding. So he's leaving here at like 2 p.m. He's going to cut up some afternoon videos from the show so people can watch some clips. And then he's going to be rushing down. We got about a 2-hour drive south to our COO's wedding. And then the real fun gets to start. I don't think he's watching the show, but we call him kind of like the mom of the, I'm like dad. He's like mom. He's really stern. So our company's going to have a lot of fun over the next couple of weeks because mom's on vacation.
Yeah.
But I love you, Manny. If you are listening to this, which, I really highly doubt you are. But anyone in chat who knows Manny, seen Manny, or just wants to love on our team, let it be known in chat. I'll send it to him, your guys. Congratulations. And, I'm just super excited about him. I love marriage. I've been married now for over 3 years. You guys in chat have probably been married for a lot longer. Let me know. I know, some people have challenges in marriage, and don't get me wrong. I don't think that marriage is for the faint of heart. But
that's good.
It's good stuff. So, where am I? I got lost with where I want to go with the show. We're going to go ahead and transition into our members. We're going to read our green names here in chat. I'm going to throw it to Smay. So go ahead, Smay. Take it away.
Woo! I'd love to. Guys, by the way, announcement. My wedding is going to be in a couple of years. So, anyways, next, let's read some names here. We got Mitch Shaw, Gia S. It's 420 Wood. Agent Gold, Eric Brubaker, Brubaker, thank you. I was,
Did you say Drew Baker?
I said it more enthusiastically to hide the fact that I mispronounced it.
The first day, didn't you say Brubaker?
I don't even know.
Brubaker.
We got Justin Eubanks. We got some green names here. We got Anthony Allen, our customer service representative, and we have Matt C. And then
That was so close to the mic.
and then we have Tyler Main. We got
Customer service representative.
and then we got Gia S. And oh my gosh. We have JT Skinner.
Nice.
Shout out to JT Skinner. I love all of you guys. Mike Lowry, OMAC. So many great green names. I love it. You guys make this segment go so much longer with how much you guys are in the chat, and I love it. Brad Geidel, Cash Cats, all of you guys, Crypto Alchemist. I love all of you. Yeah, Crypto Mini Bike. I love all of you guys. Crypto Set Guy, Josh Denham. So many. So.
Yes. We love our members. I looked in the chat. I saw a lot of people congratulating Manny. For those of you who don't know and you missed it, you just joined in. Manny is our COO here at Coffee and Crypto. This is not the question of the day. I'm just going to start with this right now. Smay and I were having this conversation beforehand. I want to know what you guys think about this, and I'm going to keep it brief, and then we're jumping into our market polls. Do you guys think that a honeymoon should be a thing? Ooh. Do you think that people should actually go on honeymoons right after their wedding? And I think no, because the reason why is why would you spend a lot of money right there at the beginning of the wedding to go to some really extravagant place? And the way I'm going to phrase this is you're not going to really leave your room that often. So why would I go to a different country why would I go spend all that money? I feel like honeymoon should wait for like a year anniversary. That's just me,
It's kind of more of a staycation.
Praise the Lord, God made us that way, and we're supposed to go and multiply.
More of a staycation
but,
kind of itinerary.
Just go home after the wedding and save yourself some money.
No, I don't. I'm team. So I'm not necessarily team travel, but I'm definitely not team go home, because go home, it's not the same vibe.
You already have to spend rent. Why go to if you're go to a hotel room, now you got to pay a hotel room and rent?
But it's like for the environment, dude. You want to go somewhere else.
Tim, with each additional word, you are damaging the tourist economy around the world. So you need
I'm advocating for the honeymoon on the 1 year anniversary, when you're actually going to go and enjoy the scenery, you're going to enjoy the place you're spending money on. Yeah. Don't go spend a lot of money and then just stay in the room.
There's a lot of conventions around weddings that you could question, but honeymoons are definitely one that
There's wedding conventions?
I hope not.
Guys, you want to go to a wedding convention?
This question got away.
I
just was getting a point. I wanted to see. I got exactly what I wanted. I think chat, they engaged with it. We're gonna jump into our market pulse here in just a second. It is good. It's gonna be a positive, good, fun Friday. Before we go to market pulse, though, our market pulse is brought to you guys by one of our favorite crypto companies out there, Hedge. A lot of you know what it is. A lot of you are already using it. I got a really cool announcement about Hedge. We're actually creating a video right now with a step-by-step tutorial coming out sometime, hopefully next week. So if you've bought Hedge or you're on the fence, you're just not sure how it works, look forward to that video. But in case you guys have never heard of Hedge, it allows you to be paid in crypto from your workplace, where you can set it up directly with your direct deposit, and you can now decide how much money you want to DCA from your paycheck and save yourself some exchange fees. So if that is something you have not signed up for already, there's a link in the description down below, and you sign up with our link, you can get $10 of free Bitcoin. Go sign up today. With that being said, though, TShroom, let's go ahead and dive into our market pulse.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, that can mean only one thing, and that's that you are in the market pulse, baby. Let's do it. Heading over to my screen, you can see the Fear and Greed Index is cruising on down, back into extreme fear. Not where we really want to see it, but that's where it is. And it kind of makes sense because of the price action that Tim's going to get into here in a little bit. And also because of the looming Fed and that 75 basis point hike that more than likely is going to come in. 81% of CME futures traders are putting their money into the fact that 75 basis points is going to be what the Fed decides on the 21st of September. Folks, if you're not tracking this story by now, you need to. Definitely go read up on Federal Reserve, federal fund rates, and what is going to be happening on September 21st to your investments. And that is going to be really good for you to take a dive down into that. Don't stop at the rabbit hole on the Federal Reserve. Just keep right on going. Folks, we're gonna go into the news now for the market pulse. And we're starting off with the good old White House here releases comprehensive framework to crypto regulation and development. This is big news apparently, but when you really read into it, it seems like kind of a kind of a nothing burger, but we'll take a look at it anyway. Today's comprehensive framework doesn't lay down any new legislation, but it provides a clearer vision of U.S. crypto regulation. So if you're looking for a clearer vision of crypto regulation in the U.S., now today's your big day. The framework is broken down into sections titled protecting consumers, investors, and businesses, promoting access to safe, affordable financial services, which both those kind of seem very similar, fostering financial sustainability, advancing responsible innovation, reinforcing our global financial leadership and competitiveness, and fighting illicit finance, and exploring a U.S. central bank digital currency. So that's pretty much the biggest one there. A lot of this was kind of just word salad, but exploring a U.S. Central bank digital currency, a CBDC, that's really one that has some teeth there. Wouldn't want to necessarily see that being rolled out under the wrong pretenses. But the recommendations of the framework, a little bit more important here. The framework greenlights regulators like Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, to continue coordinating efforts to enforce law in the industry and to share data on consumer complaints in the space. The U.S. Treasury will take an active role in working with financial institutions to help identify and mitigate cyber risk through data sharing and analysis. It is also tasked with working with regulators to ensure crypto firms have regulatory guidance. So again, is there really anything new here? No. But is it big news? Yes, because it's still going to reverberate throughout the news cycle here throughout the weekend, and people all that work for the government at a high level are going to feel yet another, basically request from the White House saying, hey, continue to look into this crypto stuff, continue to make sure that your niche of the government is ready for its implementation, because I mean, if you look at the way that these banks, we had big news this week that a couple of banks that got together, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, they're getting together, they're launching exchanges. LG is launching a NFT marketplace. Like, the world is going crypto, and so the White House is trying the best that it can to try and sound the call and say, hey, we need to pay attention. What is this on my mic? Well, I don't know how that got there. But so moving right along, El Salvador's Bitcoin-loving President Bukele to run for re-election. And there he is, Nayib Bukele, the fearless leader of Bitcoin down in South America, definitely leading the charge there. President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, announced that he will seek re-election after his term ends in 2024, according to Reuters. So this isn't ending. His term is not ending yet. It's got quite a bit of time, actually, but he announced that he is going to be running for re-election. Against this backdrop, on Thursday, global markets credit analysis site Fitch downgraded El Salvador's debt rating from CC to CCC. Explaining the downgrade, Fitch cited tight fiscal and external liquidity positions and extremely constrained market access amid high fiscal financing needs in El Salvador. So not looking great there for El Salvador, but we're all feeling the bear market strain, and Nayib Bukele certainly is, although he's probably got a lot more on his plate than the average crypto investor. Moving right along, Ethereum liquidations top 127 million amid post-merge volatility. So a lot of liquidations happening, and more than 80% of these liquidations, over 103 million, were long positions from bullish crypto traders. So folks thinking that crypto is going to go, or Ethereum was going to be, going to the moon. And so they bought call options on that, and they have been liquidated as a result. Not great. Not really what you want to see. Doesn't, I don't know that this really affects the spot price, because this was a speculative kind of big money grab. Yeah, that's, it's not great for those that got liquidated. I did not think that this was a time to go into leverage, because it could go either way, and it did. It didn't go immediately either way. It was like, 24, 30 hours of just like sideways movement for Ethereum, and then all of a sudden big tank ski. So, you didn't want to be long there, especially not in leverage. Crypto lending company Celsius files for permission to sell its stablecoin holdings. So the saga continues over at Celsius. Crypto lending firm Celsius Network, which is currently in Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings, has asked the court for authorization to sell its stablecoin holdings in order to generate liquidity to help fund its operations, according to new court filings. Celsius's official committee of unsecured creditors made a deal with the U.S. Trustee's office earlier in September to appoint an independent examiner, provided they took certain steps to limit the amount of time and funding the examiner would take. Celsius agreed to join the examiner, and the judge signed off on the deal on Wednesday. A hearing is scheduled for October 6th in New York to discuss the proposed stablecoin sale. So this is, I think this is important because it provides a little bit of clarity on folks who are still tied up in Celsius and waiting for their money back. The priorities right now for Celsius looks like they're trying to fund operations. So that's not a great sign if you haven't gotten your money back from Celsius yet. But that's going to conclude our market pulse, folks. It's a little bit of a kind of a hangover of a Friday here. We were so excited for the merge, and that pretty much was celebrated yesterday, happened Wednesday, and now we're in Friday, and regulators are kind of pouncing a little bit here on the weakness. And the price is going to more than likely go lower here into the weekend. But that's going to be your market pulse. So I'll throw it back over to Tim.
We got a little bit of time ending a little early. Let's kind of like dig into some of the stories there. TShroom, maybe elaborate a little more on the announcement, because that's all over Twitter right now. Anyone who's on Twitter is going to see a lot of different posts saying something along the lines of the White House just began to talk about regulation, or rather they're stipulating that they want to have regulation. What is the real takeaway from there? So you talked about, they discussed CBDCs a little bit, which we could camp out there for a while if we really wanted to, on how there's just not a lot of reason other than government control to have a CBDC. But what do you think the big takeaway for true regulation that could help people? Because our chat kind of hatched on that one. Like, we want to help people. We want to keep citizens safe. That's more often a ploy to just get more control. What do you think could be a good sign away from this announcement on this Positive Friday so people can take away and not just be so negative?
It's a good question. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, does the current administration really care about crypto? Probably not. I think that there's probably aides that work for the Treasury specifically, and different more financially inclined aspects of the cabinet that probably care quite a bit about digital assets. And so those folks, meaning aides, meaning lower level aides, because people who are elected or tapped for those cabinets, they probably wouldn't have had much time to be able to research crypto. Maybe they're lightly invested in it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the lower level workers within the White House who know anything about crypto, and it's unclear that Biden really cares too much. But these aides, they communicate to the cabinet leaders, hey, this is important. Those cabinet leaders communicate to Biden, hey, this is important. So they're coming out with these guidelines. From an optimistic standpoint, what would I want to see from the White House? Well, I would want to see them. The problem is when they say things like they want to foster innovation, that you have to wonder how much of that is just word salad, how much of that is just they're just saying things just to say it. I honestly don't think that it's. In my opinion, right now, this story is just a holding pattern. It's just we didn't see the movement from the SEC and from the CFTC necessarily that we wanted to see. The White House is saying this, so we're just going to go ahead and reiterate, hey, we want to see more focus on crypto, and it's just a matter of them continuing to beat the drums of like, hey, we want more regulation. We want to see what you guys want to come up with on crypto, but it's almost like Gary Gensler just needs to quit. Like, he needs to be removed, and then the government can kind of move forward. But until then, it's like he has this strange kind of closeted vendetta, it seems like, against crypto, and the whole rest of the government in its current administrative form, meaning Democrat, progressive, they want to see crypto regulation come forward so that there can be more clarity. But this Gary Gensler guy is just like, I've got some weird hangups, and I don't necessarily want that. And so it looks like everybody, most folks in the government want the CFTC to be handling the lion's share of the regulation. But Gary Gensler's still holding on and calling things securities, and it's he's been friendly to Bitcoin for the most part, which is good. That's optimistic. But again, Tim, I got to come back to this story here. There's really not a whole lot there. It's kind of just just reiterating that they want comprehensive regulation on crypto, and who doesn't? That's what we'd like from a regulatory clarity standpoint. But I think they just don't know enough about it yet to really put some teeth behind law, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think that's a good point you even say there. And you're speaking on Gary Gensler himself, that clip that is kind of making its way around the internet right now with him skirting around the question of what actually a security is. By the way, that's a question we have been asking now for a very long time, ever since he went after Ripple in the first place. When you say that Ripple is a security, why? Because when you use loose definitions, you could technically throw anything into being a security and then use other definitions. It's just like, all right, well, then in that case, cryptocurrency is not one. And I thought it was really funny, just as he began to skirt it, he began to use jargon. He wouldn't answer questions directly. He would answer a question with a redone definition of what a security was. And he started using words like, well, if you have a common interest, it's like, well, what does that mean? What constitutes a common interest? And then he's talking about with, the more decentralized, the more set. I was like, okay, you're literally getting us nowhere here, Gary, in which case are you still trying to keep it as loose as possible so that you can try your hardest to still grab every cryptocurrency possible and call it a security? You're releasing Bitcoin, but even with the definitions you're using being very vague, one could throw Bitcoin into that loop as well. I also thought it was very interesting, again, for anyone who's Ethereum fans out there, that actually, for a while, there was a lot of talk that Ethereum would get to go around the SEC, just like Bitcoin, in which case Gary has been very clear he's going to let that happen. But now that it's moved to proof of stake, bam, it's going to be classified as a security. Why? Why is moving to proof of stake? Are we going to now open it up to the definition of anything that's proof of stake will be classified as security, in which case that's absolutely ridiculous. Even Charles Hoskinson chimed in on that one. He, actually go to my screen here real Smay. There was an article I found this morning. The Doge founder tells Charles why he shouldn't worry about attacks on Cardano. Charles kind of simultaneously went after Bitcoin maxis and Vitalik and the Ethereum ecosystem. He tweeted out, I guess this was last night, I believe, maybe, what was it, September 14th, today's 16th, so 2 days ago. Now begins the era of everyone assuming that all proof of stake works like Ethereum's proof of stake. The maxis will attack Cardano for slashing and labeling all Ethereums as our problems. Thanks, Jack. He's responding to Jack Dorsey, by the way, who went after Cardano and all proof of stake in general. Here's the question. Why does Ethereum moving to proof of stake make it a security? If Gary can give us a solid foundational answer, maybe we're going to get somewhere. But that interview he had, it literally looked like someone who was not prepared, who just wanted to spew some jargon to keep his options open. And I'm telling you right now, I know that Ethereum has created some enemies. I know that Vitalik going after Ripple, Vitalik with his comments on Charles Hoskinson and the Cardano team, he's not following the policy that we really should be as cryptocurrency investors and enthusiasts by realizing who the enemy really is. But I'm telling you right now, if you are a Ripple fan, if you're an XRP fan, if you're a Cardano fan, do not jump on the bandwagon of hoping for the demise of Ethereum and hoping that Gary Gensler gets a hold of it. Because if for some reason, and that's what it does look like Ethereum could be in Gary's crosshairs. If he goes after it and this becomes the new Ripple case, it will not be long until that comes back to bite all of us in the butt. So this is an example of whether you like the Ethereum ecosystem or not, it's here to stay. And secondly, it is more of an ally to you than Gary Gensler and the SEC. Please do not confuse who the real enemy is here. Continue to fight for actual freedom of currency. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition. I believe that Forrest is on. Is that right, Smay?
I believe so.
What's going on, Forrest? How are you doing today?
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I'm super excited to get your take on this. We were just talking about potential downsides of Ethereum because of Gary Gensler's very vague terms. But this is Positive Friday. We're going to shift it back into the positives of what Ethereum potentially could be doing here very, very soon. But before I go there with you, Forrest, you haven't been on the show. This is your first time. Welcome. I'm super excited to have you on the show. I hope everybody in chat just falls in love with you the way I have. You have a phenomenal brain when it comes to Ethereum and crypto space. But we're going to start off with our question of the day. And this is a doozy of a question because it really says a lot about what your job is. And I also used it for my company to find out who really doesn't want to be here. By the way, I think most of them passed except for one person. You're about to hear who it is. Smay, not Smay, TShroom. TShroom, what is the question of the day? I'm interested to hear what Forrest's answer is.
All right. Well, the question of the day, and Smay, you do not want to go to my screen for this. Would you rather work the job you have now for a year at double your current rate of pay, or have 1 year off with what you are making now? I'm going to read it again. Would you rather work the job you have now for a year at double your current rate, or have 1 year off with what you are making now? There's your question. I'm going to throw it.
Yeah, just go Forrest first.
Forrest, what do you think?
Man, this has got to be an easy one for me because my full-time job is crypto. Like I run a business within the crypto space. I put out videos on YouTube. So if I could just instantly double my income overnight and just do what I do anyways, no brainer. Yeah, I would absolutely do that because look, if I took a year off, I would just be doing this anyways. I would just still be, in crypto. I'm not going to leave crypto. So yeah, let's double that income.
Yeah, excellent. I'm going to go with the same one I told them before the show. I was like, I genuinely actually like what I do. Not that there's not details of the day that I'm like, oh, that's frustrating. But I would be spending a lot of time researching. I'm also the type of person, I don't like time off because you get out of rhythms and you get like, even a week. When I take vacations, a week away from crypto, you come back and you feel like you're out of the loop. So I hate that. Second of all, double the pay. That's mining more fiat to invest in the crypto. I'll go ahead and jump on that one. But Smay, what do you think?
Oh, I'm gonna be the negative Nancy here. I want to take a year off because I just think the amount of this is the big caveat here is that I'm a much more motivated person than I actually am. But say I was like more motivated than I actually am, definitely a year off because then I'd have a whole year of money to explore different interests that I have and really like work on something and see if something lands and sticks. If not, I can return to mining fiat the good old way that I love, like here. So,
yeah, I would take the double your money because this job is awesome. It allows me to research what I'm passionate about, which is crypto, and I couldn't be happier. So I think that's going to round out our question of the day. I am seeing a lot of people say that they would take the work off.
Yeah.
So they take the year off.
I saw it's a good mix, and that really tells you who likes their job, who doesn't like their job.
Oh, that's not what it means.
I'm not saying you don't like your job, but okay. Hey, I liked how Forrest put it. Like literally, this is what I like. Like it is cool for those of us who get to do what we love to do. I would say if I had a whole year off, I'd probably spend a lot more time looking at sports things. But I love crypto. Like I love doing this. I still love my investments. I would still be here. Trying to think through the best way to invest and to grow my education. We'll talk more about that later because that's just more of a thing. If people are missing out on that right now, this season of boring crypto action is the most amazing and perfect time to do two things. One, invest. And number two, research and learn because everything you can learn now is going to pay dividends not only in the next bull run, but for the rest of your life. And this is the time where the real meat is earned as you're researching the bottom of bear markets. But let's go ahead and jump into our topics of the day. Forrest, we're going to cover a little bit. We're going to talk Ethereum. We're going to talk Bitcoin. And maybe we'll get in a little bit of Cardano. This last week was the week of Ethereum. And we're going to keep talking about Ethereum as the year goes on. But next week is going to get a little more special for Cardano because the Vasil hard fork should be coming out. But let's finish this week off strong, talking about the future of Ethereum. I've had you on the channel before where you've given your outlook about the future. But for anyone who missed it, what do you think is the macro outlook for Ethereum? Let's start with the next 6 to 12 months and then work our way back towards maybe the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I know, it looks like the chat isn't the biggest fan of Ethereum, and I get the arguments against it and the centralization argument with the validators now being controlled by Lido and Coinbase. I get that. But from an investor perspective, I'm looking at, is the price going to move upwards? And I think I will present a pretty strong case for the price of Ethereum moving upwards, even if you think it's a big pile of garbage. Even if you're not a big fan of Ethereum, I think the price is going to move up in the next 6 to 12 months based off of this supply reduction or the production reduction of Ethereum. And it's very comparable to the 2016 Bitcoin halving. So a lot of, and I'll share my screen here to kind of start going through the numbers a little bit. But a lot of people are super, super focused on demand. And with this supply reduction, honestly, demand is borderline less relevant. Even if demand is destroyed quite a bit, I still expect the price to hold up, if not go up over the next 6 to 12 months. Now, I am for, the short term. I do think we could go down to $1,200, $1,300. I'm not super bullish in the short term. It'd actually be pretty normal for us to go and try to find a bottom here soon. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is the 13,000 Ethereum was being mined per day and basically sold on the open market to cover the electricity costs of the network. That equates at the current Ethereum price to between 18 and $20 million worth of Ethereum hitting the market. And a lot of people say, well, 20 to 30 million or 18 to $20 million in a $176 billion market cap isn't that much. But if you take a look at the liquidity here, right, it's actually affecting the liquidity. And if we look at the bids to move the price of Ethereum down by 20 million or by 2%, it's going to take $477 million, right? And to move it up 2%, it's going to take $450 million, right? That $20 million a day that's not going into the sell side of this liquidity starts to stack up over time. One day isn't going to make a difference. $20 million in one day is not going to make a difference in liquidity. But over the course of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, that starts to add up to billions of dollars after about 6 months in sell-side liquidity disappearing from the order book. And what that manifests as a lot of price appreciation over time. So I want to go to an example. And I've looked at this for the 3 examples that we have with the Bitcoin halvings. And I looked at it in terms of supply or sell side pressure reduction. So in the 2012 Bitcoin halving over here, the price of Bitcoin was roughly $12.50, $13, right? Times 144 blocks per day, we had a reduction from 50 to 25 Bitcoin per block. That equals a $45,000 reduction in sell pressure for Bitcoin on a $128 million market cap at the point of Bitcoin in 2012. That is a multiple, right? That is 1/2,844th of the market cap being reduced or sell pressure disappearing, right? So that's the market cap to sell pressure reduction ratio. That's huge, right? 1 out of 2,844 of that money is being reduced from the sell pressure every single day. To the next peak from Bitcoin halving to peak, it was a 94x return. The time that it took to get to the peak was roughly 365 days. Now in 2016, we saw a reduction of Bitcoin block size or Bitcoin rewards from 25 to 12.5 at a price of $650, right? That market cap reduction in sell pressure to market cap ratio was 8,547. Considerably smaller, right? The number's bigger, but it's, a smaller ratio, which returned roughly a 30x to the peak. And with Bitcoin, obviously, you're going to get diminishing returns. Bitcoin's, following a logarithmic growth curve. We've all accepted that. Obviously, getting in earlier is better, but we expect to see this continued growth of Bitcoin with the halvings. We just expect diminishing returns from each halving in terms of, the next peak of Bitcoin. This time it was roughly a 7x, right? And this ratio spiked or dropped off significantly from 8,500 to 1 out of 20,311. Well, if we do the same math for the Ethereum merge, we actually see that the reduction in sell pressure per day as a function of market cap, the ratio is actually closer to the 2016 Bitcoin halving. Now, I want to actually go to the 2016 Bitcoin halving and see what price did. We actually rallied 412% into the Bitcoin halving, right? It was a buy the rumor, sell the news event, because after the Bitcoin halving, right, we had a 40% reduction, a 40% correction in price. But then what happened, right? After about 30 days of the price correcting post-halving, the price started moving back upwards because this reduction in sell pressure started to hit the market and started to add up. And it started to stack the liquidity and remove sell pressure liquidity and stack the liquidity in favor of the buys, right? After about 90 days, we started to see some price stabilization, and we started to develop an uptrend. After 160 days, we had actually broken the previous peak. And after 180 days, we had broken through and peaked again at our previous all-time high, right? And then we went on to peak at around $19.8 thousand. Now, obviously, there's demand for Bitcoin that plays into this. There's a healthy macro environment, right? But if we see something similar, right? If we see something similar, and I'm not saying that that Bitcoin or Ethereum is going to see a 30x, but if we see something similar with Ethereum, where all right, people have sold the news, we start to bottom out a little bit, and then the supply reduction starts to hit the market, right? The sell pressure reduction starts to hit the market. We could start to see Ethereum start to move up. Now, I know global macro looks bad. However, even if we take into account, if I go over to the Ethereum chart, even if we take into account a massive reduction in demand for Ethereum, and we say, well, maybe Ethereum crashes 70% from where it's at right now, and we still take this 2016 Bitcoin halving fractal, we're still, even taking into account a large drop in demand, we're still holding up at previous all-time high prices. So I do expect Ethereum to do really, really well. You can make the argument against why it's a good investment or why it's a risky investment because of the centralization issues. But anytime you get a reduction in supply, regardless of what that asset is, as long as demand remains somewhat stable or the drop in demand is less than the drop in supply, the rules of supply and demand dictate that price will appreciate over time. So again, I'm not saying Ethereum is going to 20K. I just grabbed the fractal. I'm really not a big fan of fractal analysis at all, right? I just grabbed the fractal to have something to kind of to show you guys, hey, this is what happened after the 2016 Bitcoin halving. Not saying that Ethereum's going to 20K at all, but I do think within around 100, 200 to 300 days, we could be challenging all-time highs based off of supply reduction alone. Right. And that's just in line with what we've seen in Bitcoin after every halving, right? The time to make an all-time high after the halvings was 86 days for the 2012 halving, 178 to 224 days for the 2016 halving. We kind of challenged the all-time high at 178 days and then broke through at 224. And then the time to make an all-time high after the 2020 halving was 200 days. So within kind of 200 to 300 days, I do expect Ethereum to be challenging all-time highs. And that's not a testament. I'm personally a big fan of Ethereum. I know not everybody is. I get the arguments against it. But whether you like it or not, when you reduce the supply of something, it does lend itself to price appreciation. And I think regardless of demand's not the big focus here. The focus here should be on supply. And I think a lot of people are missing that, hey, the supply is reduced at a massive rate to the tune of roughly $18 to $20 million per day in sell pressure being removed. So I'm bullish on Ethereum, clearly. I think there's a pretty strong case that we're going to see some price appreciation out of Ethereum, even if we dump off in the short term. Of course, things look very bearish right now. Wouldn't be surprised to go down and test $1,200. Even if we saw new lows, I don't think we're going to see new lows. But if the market crashes, if the S&P 500 and global macro situation gets worse, and we see Bitcoin test $12,000, yeah, obviously Ethereum's going to go down there with it. Ethereum's going to get washed down the drain as well. But this positive, right, supply catalyst, I believe, is going to help Ethereum reprice to a higher level. That's my personal take.
You know, Forrest, even right there, because that was all fantastic information. I loved even what you talked about. Like it, hate it, whatever it is. You know, you don't have to love what Ethereum's for to understand price analysis and something having an uptick in price. You know, you discussed right there a short-term potential downtrend, how if demand drops on Bitcoin, Ethereum could go down with it. Do you think that the easiest way to explain this is as long as Bitcoin keeps trading sideways, Ethereum will trade to the upside? When Bitcoin starts to take a minor dip, Ethereum could start trading sideways, but if Bitcoin takes a big dip, Ethereum could as well. Is that the easiest way to explain that, or do you think it's a little more complicated than that?
I think for the most part, we'll still see a lot, exactly that kind of Bitcoin Ethereum correlation. I think Ethereum's going over the next 6 to 12 months is just going to have a bias to the upside because of this supply catalyst. But obviously Bitcoin's price, and to a further extent, the prices of the S&P 500, the prices of tech stocks, the inverse correlation to the dollar, the DXY, all of those variables are going to affect price in the short term. I just think that Ethereum, because of the supply catalyst, is going to have bias to the upside and potentially outperform the rest of the market that hasn't had a supply catalyst. If Bitcoin gets washed down the drain to 12K, I think is an excellent buying opportunity for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? I'm not here to say, Bitcoin's a bad investment by any means. I think we're actually in a great accumulation period, and we have downside risk in Bitcoin down to that kind of 12K to 10K support level. If we see a big washout, a worsening of global macro and a crash, 12K is on the table, but I don't think 12K is guaranteed. I don't think it's guaranteed that you're going to get the opportunity to buy Bitcoin at $12,000. It's a possibility, and we want to be prepared for that if the opportunity comes. Bitcoin's got strong support around $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, and we're already very far off, 60+% off of our all-time high. We're hitting this kind of accumulation range. Maybe we deviate down to $12,000, pop back up to the 20K resistance level, but ultimately, I think this is the time to be accumulating crypto.
A good question I have for you there about Bitcoin to 12K. Do you think that do you think that we already have all the news and all the fundamentals baked into where we could still see a $12,000 price? Or do you expect there'd have to be something catastrophic happening? Potentially maybe a war in China, potentially another exchange that we weren't expecting to crash. Maybe another large coin just takes a bath and ends up becoming a rug pull. Do you think it's going to take a large catalyst to see a $12,000 price? Or do you think even with the current conditions, the price could just find its way down there?
I do think it's going to take a large catalyst for Ethereum or Bitcoin to drop down to those new lows, or not necessarily new lows, but those significant new lows, right? Bitcoin could find its way down to $16,000. It could find its way down to $17,000. But I do think it's going to take a pretty bad washout in the legacy market, the S&P 500 crashing, a war occurring between China and Taiwan, a worsening of the situation, the energy situation over in Europe, something really nasty happening to really push Bitcoin down to $12,000. And I do think that if we do see Bitcoin at $12,000, we'd see a really strong bounce. I know there's a lot of people that are hungry to buy Bitcoin at that $10,000 to $12,000 region. I don't think 6K is on the table, unfortunately, for anybody who is really excited to buy and hoping to buy at $6,000. I don't think that that's a likely scenario that it's possible, but I don't think it's a likely scenario that you'll get the opportunity to buy that low. Bitcoin, 20K is our previous all-time high. 19.8K is our previous all-time high. Anything under that gets people really excited to start buying and accumulating. So I do think it'll take a little bit of a washout, a little bit of a negative catalyst to really scare investors out. I mean, Bitcoin's got one of the strongest investor communities out there. And you have a lot of hodlers that no matter what happens, they're only buying. They're not looking. No one wants to sell Bitcoin at 20K, if we're being honest. The only reason to sell Bitcoin at 20K is if you're a short-term trader. If you're picking it up at 17 or at 16, right, and turning around, using leverage, turning around and selling the resistance at 20K. But most Bitcoin investors, institutional, retail, or otherwise, are looking to accumulate Bitcoin under $20,000. So I just don't see how those investors are going to get scared out of the market and dump unless we get some sort of short-term nasty recession based
I think something that's really, really important about what you just said is that if the price goes below 19,000, that's a great buying opportunity. It's really important to clarify that the people that see it as a great buying opportunity is the smart money whales, or the people or the retail investors who have been here for a while. The people who will freak out, the people who will sell and wait for 12,000 or 9,000 or whatever it goes, whatever that disaster scenario is, are the newer, weaker-handed retail investors. And this is a narrative I've been talking about on the channel for a while. Similar to you, could we hit 12,000? It's absolutely possible. 9,000 to me looks like the real disaster scenario where there is a whole lot of volume down there around 9,000. I think it's 200, something like that. But there's also the narrative of, as you said, getting below 19,000 is looking like a fantastic buying spot to whales and smart money investors who love when the market is full of FUD and retail investors are diving off the boat because they're freaking out about low prices incoming and then they gobble up all the supply. So again, is it possible we go low? Absolutely. But guarantee is the right word. And I think some people are acting like it's a guarantee we're going down that far. And there's a chance that they get very disappointed. You know, the last thing I want to ask you here, Forrest, before I let you go, because this has been fantastic. I can't wait to have you on again here very soon. What is your thought about this next coming week with Cardano? Of course, the last couple of weeks, Ethereum has been the big dog in the news. That Ethereum merge that's been waited on for 4 years is here, and it has come, and it didn't bring a whole lot of excitement. Now it brings a lot of questions. What are your thoughts about Cardano as we're expecting next Thursday, the 22nd, could be the day that Vasil hard fork finally launches and really takes Cardano to a new level fundamentally? What are your thoughts about Cardano price action right now that has some bullish signs, some bearish signs on the charts, but we got to kind of wait for the Vasil hard fork to make a real call? What do you say about that?
Yeah, so I think the Vasil hard fork and the scalability that it's going to bring to Cardano is a positive catalyst. I don't necessarily think that it's going to just overnight shoot up the price of Cardano. At the end of the day, demand for crypto and demand for risk assets right now is relatively low. We're in a bear market. Is it a really positive thing for Cardano in the long term and going into the next bull market? Yes, absolutely. As far as to my knowledge, it doesn't necessarily affect the supply of Cardano in a big way. More so the scalability and potential demand for Cardano later on down the road. So I don't expect a lot to be changing in terms of the price dynamics in the short term. But my view on Cardano is it's arguably the most secure blockchain. They're doing everything right. They have great leadership, great funding. And in terms of the tortoise and the hare comparison, it's the tortoise. Is it tougher to onboard people to code and program in Haskell? Sure. There's a larger pool of Rust developers out there, JavaScript developers out there, even Solidity developers. However, if you're looking at crypto as a 5 to 10 year investment and you want to prioritize security over that period of time, I really, really like Cardano. I think you're going to have periods of time where the flashy, super scalable chains that you can program in Solidity, obviously like Solana and Avalanche and Near Protocol. I think all of those chains in the short term are going to have narratives, and there's going to be periods of time where Cardano's price action gets outperformed by flashy new stuff. The market's really immature at this point. There's constantly being new experiments run, new narratives coming in. But if you zoom out over the long period of time, I do expect really, really solid price performance out of Cardano, just at probably a longer term pace, kind of a longer term steady growth pace over 5 to 10 years, rather than looking at Cardano as something that's going to just 15, 20x overnight, even though we know that Cardano can put in those numbers in a bull market. It just saw ridiculous price appreciation in this last bull market. It was one of the best top performers. So I do like Cardano. I just think that it's going to be a long-term performer, and you want to set your expectations for 3, 5, 10 years down the road for Cardano. Whereas, look, if you told me like, hey, you've got $1 million, you got to put it in Solana or you got to put it in Cardano, but you can't sell for 5 to 10 years, man, all of a sudden Cardano looks really, really solid because of the philosophy with which they approach development, right? That long-term secure philosophy. So yeah, I like Cardano. It's just, for me, it's a longer term play.
Well, Forrest, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show today. Cannot wait to have you back on here. If you guys want to hear more from him, make sure to go follow him on Twitter. The link is in the description down below, but it's 0xstacker, at 0xstacker. Forrest, we will see you next time. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much for having me on, Tim. It's a pleasure.
Good stuff, Forrest. Man, that is, I'm going to ask you, TShroom, here in a second. This man, if you have a thought, I would love to hear your take as well. What did you think about what he was talking about there with Ethereum when he was comparing that 2016 halving event on Bitcoin? Again, he said he's not making it a direct correlation, but it's very interesting to look at that potentially if Ethereum were to kind of do something close to it, we would see a new all-time high about this time next year. And I think it's interesting. He talked about, if you look at Bitcoin, there was kind of a lead up to the news. We knew the halving was coming. There was a run up and then a sell the news event for the next, I think he said 30 days, and then the real action happened. Could we see something serious like that happen with Ethereum, where we have maybe a rundown here over the next, I guess another 2-3 weeks, and then the real fun starts? What do you think about that, TShroom?
I thought it was a really, really astute type of analysis. It's the kind of analysis that it flashes in your mind and you're like, oh, it'd be really cool to do that type of a study and see, and then you get distracted by something else. He actually did it. And if you go to my screen, I've got it pulled up. I took a screenshot because I thought it was so valuable. But yeah, I'm really impressed by the market cap to reduction ratio. That is really, once you can tell that he's really studied this and really thought about it, because that is really where the rubber meets the road. It's it isn't going to be like 2012. It's not going to be like 2020, but it has a chance of being similar to 2016 because of the way that the tokenomics, the way that the supply actually could work in terms of Ethereum to Bitcoin in this halving. This halving effect. It's really interesting. I also think it makes a lot of sense that he's really thought it through here, because he didn't say it's going to happen next week. He didn't say it's going to happen, tomorrow. He's not trying to hype people up. He's just saying, look, in the next, 120 days, something like that, or in the next 80 to 180 days, that's when this halving effect is going to happen. Because even when Bitcoin halved, it goes down because it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event.
Yeah.
But then the actual lower supply actually starts to play a role, and that starts to affect markets. And so you can tell that he's not just out here trying to, get everybody crazy and buying Ethereum. He's showing, hey, this is actually the time where we could actually start to see a precipitous incline in Ethereum. So I loved it. I love that analysis. That it's great. It's great to have that kind of well thought out theory going forward.
I absolutely agree. And you go to my screen now. Let's look at the Ethereum chart real quick. Just so you guys know, we're talking about price action at this point because that's something he was really big on. And he discussed longevity of the price, long-term versus short-term price action. You guys know on this channel, we like to talk about both of those. What is the project worth long-term, but also if you are trading it, if you're looking for investment opportunities, they could come soon. Here's what I'm watching right now. There's a couple things going on the Ethereum chart. I have my fixed range volume profile. I told you guys yesterday, I'm starting with, and there's nothing scaring me right now about Ethereum price because I'm starting with this zone right here between about 1,440, which is where we're kind of currently sitting, all the way down to 1,340. So we got about $100 range. I'm not worried until we break through this box. You guys are seeing there's not enough touches for this to be solid just yet. There's actually two different levels I'm looking at here. But keep your eyes on this. We have two touches of resistance. Well, we got to talk about support first. We got two touches of support, descending support for a channel. So there's no guarantee it would happen, but could we see Ethereum maybe come dip down to the lower level of this zone, 1340, and then find support there, bounce back up? We'll have to keep our eyes there. The other one that you got to look on for support that we could make an argument that there's some here is right at that current level we're at. Could this be a descending triangle? In which case, if I'm just looking at charts, not paying attention to anything else, I'm just going to go with the height of the opening of the triangle to the breakout, and this would give us a price prediction for Ethereum down to about 1,037. So wrapping this all up for everyone who's talking about price analysis for Ethereum, we still have support. The bulls have not lost control just yet until we break about 1340. If that happens, we've now come out of this fat zone we've been in for a couple of months now, ever since the 18th of July. Could we fall back down into this zone that we were in from June to July, down below 1,200, potentially down to 1,000? And then, like he was talking about, potentially if we did fall that far, spike right back up and begin to climb. As long as Bitcoin continues to move sideways. Now, I told you guys yesterday, there are some concerns for Bitcoin from this one technical, and it is this descending triangle. Now, this is something that even Peter Brandt, which is one of the technical analysts I have learned a whole lot from. I heavily respect him. Do I agree with everything he ever says? No. But one of the things I love about him is he's always very clear. Hey, I'm talking about probabilities. I'm not talking about certainties. But he was pointing this out too, that Bitcoin is in a longer time frame descending triangle. Cardano's in a longer time frame descending triangle. Ethereum's in more of a shorter time frame descending triangle. And it's going to say a lot about what our price action does here next. Do we break through this line, in which case it's more of a descending trading channel? Or if we hold this for support and bounce back up, maybe come back and set another lower high, confirming we're in a descending triangle. Keep your eyes on that. But with Bitcoin, can we hold? Will this level of 19,000, or I mean, it starts actually 18,600 down to about 17,600, but 19,000, 17,600, can that continue to hold? Like Forrest said, anytime we drop below that 19,000, it's looking really advantageous for whales and smart money investors to go ahead and buy. However, there is a descending triangle here. Could we see this paired with potentially another catalyst of catastrophic news in the Bitcoin front take us below? You want to prepare. You definitely do. You just don't want to then lock yourselves in. And I'll show you guys what you probably should be preparing for. I think there's a short that either was made yesterday or you're putting out. You know, I am not convinced we're dropping below 17,600, but I will prepare for a scenario in which case we could. Let me go out to the weekly chart and show you what I'm looking at, the levels I'm looking at that I'm probably going to prepare my dry powder for. And for all of our members, just so you know, I'm going to give a good example of a strategy probably next week, a video for all of our members. What am I doing here? I'm going to do the fixed range. I'll just show you levels, though, that I think are significant, though, to our YouTube, our normal YouTube page. So pulling up our fixed range VRVP. This is what I'm looking at. I know it's really hard. Let me go out to even all the one monthly so we get a little closer and I can spread this out. These are the levels I'm looking at. Remember when I said 9,000, I think, again, like 200 or something? What I'm looking at is this peak level right about here. I do not see us dropping below that fat level. All right, so it's 9,300. I was a little off. That is a level that I'm saying disaster scenario. If we drop that far, all of my dry powder will be gone. All right. The other points I'm watching, though, is this. I'm looking, and I know it's small here, but that's because we had a lot of volume over here. The levels I'm watching are, first of all, that 17,600. That is the low. I'm going to watch. If we drop that far, I'm definitely purchasing some crypto. I'm also watching this little stack right here around 15,600. I'm going to watch that. And then the last level, the last couple levels, sorry, there's a couple more. I'm going to watch this one right here around 13,500. And then another one here at about 11,600. And then one more at about 10,000. What is this? It's hard to see with that candle low right here. 10,300. Those are my levels. Again, for all our members, I'm going to be breaking this down, what a strategy should look like for laddering in some DCA of that dry powder. But in case you guys are wondering, Tim, how do you prepare for a disaster scenario? The first thing you do is identify key levels that you want to keep your eyes on. And using fixed range volume profile, that's what you're going to want to do with Bitcoin. Clarifying, this does not mean we have to drop below. I think there's still a chance and a case that we treat this triangle. Peter Brandt even discussed this. There are times where triangles, despite the fact that they traditionally break to the bear, the descending triangle, there are times where they end up breaking bullish, and potentially this just sends us into a long time frame of sideways movement. That's what I was kind of talking with Forrest about, where we kind of range and maybe even have a couple touches up around the 30, but stay, you know, relatively above 19,000, but never seem to get over that $30,000 pump until there's bullish catalyst back in the space. Keep your eyes on what is happening there, guys. Stay with us each and every single week as we continue to monitor the crypto market with you guys, not for you guys. This is not we don't want you guys just blindly, you have my screen now, Smay. We don't want you to just blindly follow everything we ever say. The whole purpose is, we're investors. Like TShroom, Smay, and I, we are all investors. We are all constantly analyzing the news, the fundamentals, the charts to try to invest as wisely as possible. And I hope that as we focus on our journey and bring on these amazing guests that come on the show every single day, that you guys can learn from not only us, but them as well, so that you can think for yourself, so that you can achieve your own financial sovereignty. This is something that I'm really passionate about. I was actually watching some older videos the other day, and I was like, we have not talked about this in a very long time, the importance of education and learning for yourself. That old mantra of, hey, you can either give a man a fish and he eats for a day, or you can teach him how to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. I fear that there are way too many people still in the crypto YouTube space that want to just come in every single day and have fish given to them. And if that is what we are doing, then we are messing up as influencers. The purpose of watching crypto YouTube and watching people that you both agree with and disagree with is that they're teaching you how to fish. Guess what? Sometimes just as important as learning how to fish the correct way, it's kind of nice sometimes to watch a fisherman who sucks and realize that's not how I want to fish. It's good to know what's good and what's bad so I can decide for myself what is the strategy that works for me. That applies to crypto. When you're looking at technical analysts or you're looking at news analysts or sentiment analysts, learn from ones that you love and hear how they break down things and decide I like that information, or say, I listened to how he broke down that. I watched his charting. I disagree with him. I saw something different than he, but at least I get to see how he's viewing the charts. And then you can decide for yourself what you want to do with this information. That is the whole point of this channel. I can't speak for every single crypto YouTube channel out there, although I know a lot of them and I know they're in complete agreement with me. The whole purpose of what we're doing here is to help you guys learn to think for yourself. But you know what's really great is when you have a strong community, that very encouraging and uplifting community around you, and that's what coffee and crypto is. So if there's no other reason to subscribe to this channel, it is just that. Come spend some time with some like-minded, loving people who want you to succeed and want you to learn. But again, we're not going to just give you fish. We want you to go and learn how to fish for yourself. Let's go ahead, Smay, and transition now. I hope people took that to heart. Let's transition to some chat and engage with this great community and hear their takes on what Forrest said, hear their takes on what I said, get their takes on this market.
Well, the unfortunate thing is here, Tim, that I have no super chats.
That's fine.
So let's go dig for some real chats. TShroom, do you have any favorite chats today?
I do. And if you go to my screen, I've tweeted it.
Yes.
What?
Yes. At TShroom. Okay, this is from today's chat on Coffee and Crypto. From Manly was the account. A honeymoon comes from the Old Testament, where a man could not be made to serve in war for the first year or have any undue hardships placed on him as the couple bonded during this time. Deuteronomy 24:5. Very interesting tradition. So yeah, there's your explanation for honeymoons there, Tim. So does that alter your position on honeymoons?
Let me read it to me one more time.
Okay.
I was also looking for chat to engage with, so
No
I was
worries.
listening, but I didn't hear as much as I
You
should
don't have to justify it to me. I'd be glad. I'd be glad to read this. A honeymoon comes from the Old Testament,
Yes.
where a man could not be made to serve in war for the first year or have any undue hardships placed on him as the couple bonded during this time.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 24:5.
You know what that is not including, though? He didn't spend exorbitant amount of money to travel to a brand new land for a week and waste that money to just get to know his wife a little better intimately and then come back home. No, the whole purpose was to build, hopefully the husband built his home. He now has brought on a bride that he is supposed to care for as if it is his own flesh. And part of caring for your bride is being wise with your finances. That's just me. I would much rather take that money up front to invest in the longevity of my marriage. And if you need a fancy honeymoon, okay, maybe that's you. Maybe if your marriage won't make it unless you have a really fancy honeymoon in the first week, then go ahead and take that honeymoon.
Well, hold on. I agree with something somebody said in chat, and they said, so Yowzer Doink a sore something says honeymoon equals low stress environment which encourages procreation. So my whole point is that I agree with you about not taking a big extravagant vacation, spending a lot of money. But I don't agree that you should just go home, because home can be a stressful environment for a lot of people.
If you are going about it the way that the Bible says to go about it, and you have been holding off for a very long time, you know what's very de-stressing? Just finally being with your bride. You can go do that at home. I hear you. I mean, people can have any take they want. I didn't mean for it to be an actual serious debate. It's just me personally. I'm also kind of a minimalist. I take very real stances on things throughout the world. I'm conscious. I'm very conscious all the time about what my resources are going towards and what is the output. That's hence the conversation the other day about diamonds in our membership stream.
I agree
we
with
kind
you
of
on
want to think
diamonds.
about diamonds and how I think that diamonds are materialistic and a waste of money.
Can I do you one further, Tim? I hate jewelry in general. And
Wow.
here's the thing about that. I don't even want the day that I get married, because I announced my wedding here. When I get married, I am not getting a ring. I'm gonna get a tattoo or something that I don't even have to think about, because I have like a sensory thing. I don't like having jewelry on me.
I think Queen just called you cheap, Tim.
I know. I don't like to think of it as much as being cheap as it is being wise and investing in the right thing. And no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's never a time to go on vacation. Let me start there. I am all about, just so you guys know, Taylor and we went on what we called our second honeymoon. But what I did was I actually had money at this point, and we went out to Colorado, went snowboarding for a week, which is phenomenal because that's what we both love to do. And to me, I'm like, all right, listen, your honeymoon, you don't want to be out in the slopes during a honeymoon. Right after getting married, you want to be in the hotel room. Well, guess what? What we did, we went on a short honeymoon after getting married. Somebody else paid for it, so thank you so much for the help. But then I said, hey, a year later, we went on an extravagant one. We actually went and had a whole lot of fun, spending time with each other, doing what we love to do. So I am not against vacations. I'm more talking about usage of money poorly, and that is spending money on an extravagant place to not even go do anything in that extravagant place, do the exact same thing you would do if you were just sitting at home.
I think we should get rid of jewelry.
Ban
I
jewelry.
love that you bring it back to jewelry.
Ban jewelry.
Goodness gracious.
We need guidance from the White House on the jewelry ban. But we did get a super chat there, Smay.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
You're going to go ahead and read that super chat?
I am.
I'm not surprised. Dead air.
Do you want me to read it?
I do.
I'm going to read it. You got to tell me to read it.
Read it,
Read it,
Smay.
Smay.
Okay, I'm going to read it.
Well, I already did
All right,
tell you to read it.
so Crypto Sec Guy says, can we talk about that boss cat behind Smay? And yes, we can. Oh, look at that. Look at that thing right there. It's a boss cat.
Is he watching a 3D movie?
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen 3D glasses like that in a long time. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about that, Smay.
Wow, this is a real...
What do you want to say about it? He's got one ear. He's got preparing himself for a 3D movie. Is he wearing flannel?
He's got 2 ears, homie.
I can't see the other one.
All right, I got to... Look.
Where's the other ear?
Right there, I'm pointing at it.
My angle, I can't see it.
All right, but the real NFT I want to talk about is this one. That's my Turtle King.
Damn.
It's a Turtle King, but you know what's horrible about this? It's actually apparently from a rug pull project. So somebody gave this to me. So apparently, don't support that project. Apparently, it's trash. But but this one's actually
Well, if it's a rug
cool.
pull, it's probably can't buy anymore.
This one's pretty cool. No, you can still buy
What
it.
if you started an NFT project where you bought up like your favorite NFTs from rug pulls, and you could call it rug pull NFT?
Oh, that would actually kind of be interesting.
Because it's like counterintuitive.
Well, but how would it be but it wouldn't be your project.
Yeah, it'd be a project because you could.
No,
you
I
could
would just
build around
collect them and then sell them.
That's,
wouldn't be
I consider projects very loosely the term there. So. But we got another super chat.
I wouldn't have
Smay,
minted it.
read the super
All
chat.
All right. Okay.
Now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right.
Read the super chat.
Please.
Did I not sound sure?
Do not go to my screen.
Okay.
All right.
Well, he has no control.
I know. I just wanted to say it. We have from Tyler McNett. Do you still have a website to learn trading? Tim?
We do. He's referring to Club DeFi, and the reason we're not marketing is because we are. Those of you who were in it, we know that we had it in beta. The website did not work well, so we're actually redoing the website. We actually started from scratch on the website, but we still have our. I talk about when you guys hear me talking about office hours. We still have Club DeFi members where every single day they still have access. We have the courses back on Teachable at the moment. They can still learn all the technical analysis, trading tips, and we even have an on-chain course over there. And then we have 5 days a week. So 5 days, I actually spend time about a half hour a day with the members in what we call office hours, where they can ask any question they want and we respond to it live. So it is super cool. Get ready, though. This is not a pitch, by the way. I mean, because we're not ready to take in a bunch of new customers at the moment. But a website is coming soon, and we will be talking a lot more about Club DeFi in the future. If you are a Club DeFi member, let everybody know in chat what you think of Club DeFi as a whole, and then it's only going to go up once that website works. Yeah, it is there. Just give us a little time. We're going to make sure it's as enjoyable as an experience for you guys as it can be.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right. You also have another 3D glasses guy over there too.
Are there 2 3D? Yeah, there's another
What's
guy.
up? What was
Where?
up with that? Did you purposely?
There's another 3D guy.
Yeah, there's 2 guys with 3D glasses.
Oh! This is so weird, the perspective. I'm like, how do I show it? There we go. This, right here.
Yeah, what is up with that? Were you on a 3D glasses bender?
Okay, so just so you know, these aren't my NFTs. These are our community's
I mean, you
NFTs.
chose the ones out of the selection that were sent.
Well,
This is your curated.
Can I be honest with you? I only got like 8.
So are you asking right now, Smay, for more submissions?
Well, actually,
of
no, I'm
NFTs?
kidding. I got 7. So I subbed 1 out. So by the way, I didn't curate anything. These are the ones that I got sent. I got sent 7, but then I subbed 1 out for my Turtle King because somebody sent like 3. So I subbed 1 out to put Turtle King. So yeah, if you guys want to send more NFTs, send them. Ooh, should I have them send them to Coffin Crypto Submissions or should I not clog that email?
You do you, Smay.
Tim, this is a moment for a decision.
I don't know.
Why don't they tweet them?
Okay.
Tweet it.
Oh yeah. Just that's so easy, guys. Tweet at Smay Nakamoto. Tweet me your NFTs, and maybe they'll end up on this wall soon.
Well, hey guys, before we wrap up the show, because we're getting away from crypto, and people have left. So unfortunately, this is for all you special that you love us and you want to stay involved. We're about to announce the winners of the HODL Trophy. So it's obvious in office who the winner of the HODL Trophy is. That would be Smay Nakamoto. The first win in quite a while. Let me get some applause, Smay. You're at the buttons.
Come on, man.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not applause. But yeah, I love it. But even more importantly, because I didn't win, so I care more about the person in chat that won, I have to go back actually look at the comments. I don't know at the moment. So you guys, let's see. Give me just a second, Smay, and then you can go to my screen. What date? What date was Monday? Was it September 12th? All right, we're going to go to September 12th comments. All right, Smay, go to my screen. Let's see. The current price is not what?
I said okay.
Oh, I thought you said something else. The current price is 19,000. We're gonna call at the moment that we were there. Let's go to the hourly. We'll just write at 11 o'clock. Where did we open on this hour? We opened at 19,662. Therefore, in the comment section, let's see who is the closest. We got
look at all those Coffin Crypto accounts, guys.
There's a lot of
They have so
lot
many.
of scammers in there. I actually try to go in and get rid of them, and then every time it's like when you it's like that old saying, you chop off the head of one snake and then 2 more.
That's a
pop
Hydra.
Up. Yeah. All right, 18,750 at the moment is the closest because 21.4 is not gonna be the closest one there. Let's see here. I know there's gonna be one close. Here we go. That is super close. So J520, not saying you won yet because I got to scroll through the rest of them, but you are the front runner at the moment if you're still watching. 19,737. Great prediction.
Good job. Good job.
Is that all? No. Okay. I only have the ones I hadn't responded to.
And definitely don't check out that WhatsApp.
Yep. Let's see here. 23,000. What else do we got? 21.6. 20,600. Close, but off. Let's see here. 19,550. That's not as close as the other one that we had. 19,700. Trey Caramonta is our front runner at the moment. He is off by literally less than $40.
That's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. Who else do we got here? 19,737. That's over. So that was J520. So you were that close, J5. 24/7. Ooh, Eric Wallen, you are not the winner this week. 19,600. That's not as close. Justin Eubanks, you were so close, but no, that is still not the front runner. We still at 19,700 is the front runner so far. Anyone else? 19,700. No, close, David. Well, you're way off, Quined.
Oh no.
So was Matt. What is that? Malad Safi.
You got to scroll a little further so we can see
I'm
him.
trying.
Well, because your head's in the way.
Bring it higher up.
Bring
in
it
the
higher
screen.
up on the
All
screen.
right, I got you. Brandon Webster, no.
I got you, bro.
No. Wow, a lot of people saying over 24,000.
Guys, you too bullish.
A lot of bulls.
Way too
Let it
bullish.
booze.
23, 22. Oh, 18,750. No. 19,800. You were close, Jennifer, but no cigar.
Wait, what? Hold on. He was 19,700. 19,800 is closer.
The final price was 19,660.
Oh.
66 to be exact. Oh man, 13 last. Oh man. After you win a HODL trophy, you're about way off at 24,800.
Wait a second. So then the person who
That's it. All right. So that was the winner. So what was the name I announced? We gotta go all the way back.
Trey Caramonta.
Trey Caramonta with the prediction of 19,700 is this week's community HODL winner. I'm trying to get back to their name. I should have highlighted it or something. Right
There it
here.
is.
Boom. Trey. Gosh. Trey Caramonta, you are this week's winner of the Community HODL Trophy. Let's get some applause in chat for our community winner. You're partnered with Smay as his first win in how long? What, 3 months, 2 months?
Oh, come on. It was not 3 months.
That's pretty close.
No, it is not, dude. It was maybe a month ago.
Oh, come on.
We're going to go do some back analysis on HODL Trophy winners because you think I never win, I do win. But
I'll do it. I'll do the back analysis.
HODL Trophy. I'd like to dedicate this to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'd like to dedicate it to Tim for being a really good boss that I'd take a year off for my paycheck. and I'd like to dedicate this to TShroom, who got a new pair of Crocs, and I'm very proud of him for joining the Croc Club.
They're Nautica. They're not actual Crocs.
And we'll talk about that later. And then I'll even want to dedicate this to Manny for his wedding day. Shout out to Manny. And then I also want to dedicate it to my NFT wall.
Check out these Crocs.
And I want to dedicate it to my Turtle King NFT that was rug pull.
These are Nautica.
And I want to dedicate it to my Lizard Smile. Back to you, Tim.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Well,
we've got a couple super chats.
We do have a couple. And poor Gravity.
Well, one of them
we upset Gravity. He said, "Horrible show. This is unlistenable. Please wrap it up." I'm sorry, Gravity.
One of them I can't read, so Tim, you have to read it.
Smay, don't read this. Is by Anima Vestra Gaming.
There it is.
Anima Vestra Gaming.
Next one, it says, "What do you think of Kadena?" KDA.
It's the Polkadot. Like open source, right?
Yeah. People always talk about Kadena.
I think it serves a unique purpose. It's interesting. Is it proof of work? It's not proof of work, is it? I don't think so.
I have no idea.
I mean, it's not trash.
It.
It's not trash, and I think it does serve an interesting, unique purpose. But it's not like one of those that I own, to be honest. But there are a lot of smart people that do own it. I think it's worth looking into. That's what I think about Kadena.
Tim, here's a good question for you in chat. Office hours today.
I'm planning on doing them. I'm going to be here. We don't have to leave until, like, I probably will be leaving, like, at 3:30. Today won't be. Sometimes I go, like, 5 minutes over. I will not today. So today, office hours, 3 to 3:30. I will be here, and then I'll be leaving for Manny's wedding. So if you guys were thinking you're going to miss out on office hours, you were wrong.
You're going to be cutting it close because you got to run home and change.
Nope, I brought my clothes here. I think ahead. Well, everybody, that is all we have for you. I'm going to adhere to Gravity's wishes and wrap this stream out. We love each and every single one of you. This is Friday. This will be our last show. Remember, we do usually have weekly wrap-ups. You want to make sure you tune in for those, but we will not have one tonight due to our COO's wedding. With that said, though, we will see you guys next week and in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.